Jan III Sobieski, Polish, Jan III Sobieski, Lithuanian, Jonas Sobieskis, August 17, 1629 June 17, 1696, from 1674 until his death King of Poland and Grand Duke of Lithuania, was one of the most notable monarchs of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Sobieski's 22-year reign was marked by a period of the Commonwealth's stabilization, much needed after the turmoil of the Deluge and Khmelnytsky Uprising. Popular among his subjects, he was an able military commander, most famous for the victory over the Turks in the 1683 Battle of Vienna. Following his victories over the Ottoman Empire, the Ottomans named him the Lion of Lechistan, and he was held as the saviour of European Christendom by the Pope. Official title was, in Latin Jonas III, Dei Gratia Rex Poloniae, Magnus Dux Lithuaniae, Russia, Prussiae, Masoviae, Samogitiae, Livoniae, Smolenscie, Kijoviae, Volhyniae, Podlachiae, Severiae, Chernichoviae, etc. Official title, Polish Jan III, Zlaski Bozej, Król Polski, Wielki Kasias Lituski, Ruski, Pruski, Masoviecki, Zemujki, Kijowski, Wolynski, Podlaski I Chernichowski, etc. English translation, John III, by the grace of God King of Poland, Grand Duke of Lithuania, Ruthenia, Prussia, Masovia, Samogitiae, Livonia, Smolensk, Kiev, Volhynia, Podlachiae, Severiae, and Chernihiv, etc. Jan Sobieski was born on August 17, 1629, in Olesko, a small town near Lwów in Galicia, now Ukraine, then part of the Ruthenian voivodeship in the Crown of the Kingdom of Poland, Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, to a notable noble family, the Sobieszyn Sobieski of Janina coat of arms. His father, Jakub Sobieski, was the voivode of Ruthenia and Castellan of Krakow. His mother, Zofia Tofilia Danilowicz, was a granddaughter of Hetman Stanislaw Zalkiewski. Jan Sobieski spent his childhood in Zalkiw. After graduating from the Dworski College in Krakow in 1643, young Jan Sobieski then graduated from the Philosophical Faculty of the Jagiellonian University in 1646. After finishing his studies, together with his brother Marek Sobieski, Jan left for Western Europe, where he spent more than 2 years traveling. They visited Leipzig, Antwerp, Paris, London, Leiden, and The Hague. During that time, he met influential contemporary figures such as Louis II de Bourbon, Charles II of England and William II, Prince of Orange, and learned French, German, and Italian, in addition to Latin. Both brothers returned to the Commonwealth in 1648. Upon receiving the news of the death of King Władysław IV Wasa and the hostilities of the Khmelnytsky Uprising, they volunteered for the army. They both fought in the siege of Zamość. They founded and commanded their own banners, Karagiu, of cavalry, 1 light Cossack and 1 heavy, of Polish hussars. Soon, the fortunes of war separated the brothers. In 1649, Jakub fought in the Battle of Zborov. In 1652, Marek died in Tatar captivity after his capture at the Battle of Batow. Jan was promoted to the rank of Pułkownik and fought with distinction in the Battle of Berestechko. A promising commander, Jan was sent by King John II Casimir to Istanbul in the Ottoman Empire as one of the envoys in a diplomatic mission of Mikołaj Bieganowski. There, Sobieski learned the Tatar language and the Turkish language and studied Turkish military traditions and tactics. It is likely he participated as part of the briefly allied Polish-Tatar forces in the 1655 Battle of Okmiedziw. After the start of the Swedish invasion of Poland known as the Deluge, Jan Sobieski was among the greater Polish regiments led by Krzysztof Opolensky, Palatine of Poznan, which capitulated at Ujasi, and swore allegiance to King Charles X Gustav of Sweden. However, around late March 1656, he abandoned their side, returning to the side of Polish King John II Casimir Wasa, enlisting under the command of Hetmans Stefan Czarniecki and Jerzy Sebastian Lubomirski. During the three-day-long Battle of Warsaw of 1656, Sobieski's command of a 2,000-man strong regiment of Tatar cavalry earned him promotion to the title of Lord Standard-Bearer of the Crown. A strong supporter of the French faction, Sobieski remained loyal to the king during the infamous Lubomirski rebellion, which further helped his military career. In 1665, he married Marie Casimir Louise de la Grange d'Arquian and was promoted to the rank of Grand Marshal of the Crown and, the following year, to the rank of Field Hetman of the Crown. In 1667, he achieved another great victory over the Cossacks and their Crimean Tatar allies in the Battle of Podlachiae during the Polish-Cossack-Tatar War, 1666–71. On February 5, 1668, by now a famed and esteemed commander, he achieved the rank of Grand Hetman of the Crown, the highest military rank in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, and thereby the de facto commander-in-chief of the entire Polish army. On November 11, 1673, during the Polish-Ottoman War, 1672–76, Sobieski added yet another major victory to his list, this time defeating the Ottomans in the Battle of Chasym and capturing the fortress located there. The news of the battle coincided with the news of the death of Michael I, King of Poland, who had died the day before the battle. This made Sobieski one of the leading figures of the state, so on May 19 the following year, he was elected monarch of the Commonwealth. His candidacy was almost universally supported, with only a dozen or so members of the Diet opposing him. Among the most notable backers of his candidacy was his wife. John Sobieski was crowned John III on February 2, 1676. Though Poland-Lithuania was at that time the largest and one of the most populous states of Europe, Sobieski became a king of a country devastated by almost half a century of constant war. The treasury was almost empty and the court had little to offer the powerful magnates, who often allied themselves with foreign courts rather than the state. Sobieski stabilized the situation by forcing the Ottomans to accept a peace treaty to end the constant wars on the southern border. In the autumn of 1674, he recommenced the war against the Ottomans and managed to recapture the fortresses of Kamieniec Podolski, Bar, and Rizkov, which re-established a strongly fortified line defending Poland's southern border in the Ukraine. Polish historian Oskar Halecki and others noted that Sobieski also planned to conquer Prussia with Swedish troops and French support. This secret pact, later exposed, failed because the war with the Ottoman Empire lasted too long, during which time the Great Elector made treaties with France, the Swedes were repelled, and opposition by the Commonwealth's magnates, many of them on the Great Elector's side, increased. Sobieski's plan was also hurt by Michael Pak, the hetman of Lithuania and a supporter of Brandenburg, who simply defected with his army and then disbanded it. In 1676, the Tatars began a counter-offensive and crossed the Dnieper, but could not retake the strategic town of Zorano, and the peace treaty was signed soon afterwards. Although Kamieniec Podolski remained a part of the Ottoman Empire, Poland counteracted its significance with the construction of the stronghold of the Holy Trinity and return of the town of Biała Czerkwa. The signing of the treaty began a period of peace that was much needed for the repair the country and strengthening of the royal authority. Although constantly hampered by the magnates and foreign courts of Brandenburg and Austria, Austria even tried to oust Sobieski and replace him with Charles of Lorraine. Sobieski managed to completely reform the Polish army. The military was reorganized into regiments, the infantry finally dropped pikes, replacing them with battle axes, and the Polish cavalry adopted hussars and dragoons formations. Sobieski also greatly increased the number of guns and introduced new artillery tactics. As a diplomat, Sobieski envisioned an alliance with France and the Ottomans against the Austrian Empire and Brandenburg. However, his plans never eventuated and, in 1683, had to be completely abandoned. Conscious that Poland lacked allies and risked war against most of its neighbors, similar to the Deluge, Sobieski allied himself with Leopold I, of the Holy Roman Empire. The alliance, although aimed directly against the Ottomans and indirectly against France, had the advantage of gaining support for the defense of Poland's southern borders. In the spring of 1683, royal spies uncovered Turkish preparations for a military campaign. Sobieski feared that the target might be the Polish cities of Lwów and Kraków. To counteract the threat, Sobieski began the fortification of the cities and ordered universal military conscription. Sobieski's military skill, demonstrated in war against the Ottoman Empire, contributed to his prowess as King of Poland. One of his ambitions was to unify Christian Europe in a crusade to drive the Turks out of Europe. He joined the alliance of the Holy Roman Emperor and joined the Holy League initiated by Pope Innocent XI to preserve Christendom. The alliance was unusual in that a number of Protestants, from Germany and even the son of Prince Rupert of the Stuarts fought. Sobieski's greatest success came in 1683, with his victory at the Battle of Vienna, in joint command of Polish, Austrian, and German troops, against the invading Ottoman Turks under Karim Mustafa. Upon reaching Vienna, Sobieski had planned to attack on September 13, but with the Ottoman army close to breaching the walls, he ordered a full attack on September 12. At 4 a.m., the united army of about 81,000 men attacked a Turkish force of about 130,000 men. At about 5 p.m., after observing the infantry battle from the hilltop, Sobieski led the Polish Husaria cavalry along with Austrians and Germans in a massive charge down the hillside. Soon, the Ottoman battle line was broken and the Ottoman forces scattered in disarray. At 5:30 p.m., Sobieski entered the deserted tent of Karim Mustafa and the Battle of Vienna ended. The Pope and other foreign dignitaries hailed Sobieski as the saviour of Vienna and Western European civilization. In a letter to his wife, he wrote, "All the common people kissed my hands, my feet, my clothes, others only touched me, saying, 'Ah, let us kiss so valiant a hand.'" Although the king spent much time on the battlefields, which could suggest a good state of health, towards the end of his life he became seriously and increasingly ill. Notably, Sobieski suffered from obesity, gout, kidney stones, hypertension, and inflammation of the sinuses, and syphilis which he acquired in France. Additionally, the highly unsuccessful and dangerous treatment using mercury has led to the adverse effects of nephrotoxicity. King John III Sobieski died in Wilanów, Poland on June 17, 1696 from a sudden heart attack which was most probably caused by the overall weakening of the body by previous illnesses. His wife, Marie Casimir Louise, died in 1716 in Blois, France, and her body was returned to Poland. They are interred together in Wawel Cathedral, Kraków, Poland. He was succeeded by Augustus II, who stayed in power primarily because of Saxon and Russian support. On his death in 1733, a struggle for the crown of Poland ensued and caused the War of the Polish Succession. After World War II, a statue of John III Sobieski was repatriated to Gdansk from Lwów, a city now in Ukraine currently named Lviv. The statue overlooks a little park at the old Gdansk City Hall Museum. After the Battle of Vienna, the newly delineated constellation of Scutum, Latin for shield, was originally named Scutum Sobieskianum by the astronomer Johannes Hevelius, in honor of John III Sobieski. While there are a few stars named after non-astronomers, this is the only constellation named after a real non-astronomer, moreover, one who was still alive when the constellation was named. A legend of the origins of the bagel refers to John III Sobieski as the king to whom a Jewish baker gave the very first bagel in commemoration of his victory at Vienna in 1683. The round shape of the bagel was said to resemble the stirrups of Sobieski and his mounted warriors. The Eurocity train route between Vienna and Warsaw, trains 104/105, are named after Sobieski. A fragrance named Bouquet Sobieski created in 1908 by Polish-American perfumer John Blocky. There is a modern proposition from non-Polish European newspapers to name the A2 highway in Poland after Sobieski. Sobieski, a vodka brand named after His Majesty John III. A cigarette brand owned by British American Tobacco is called Jan III Sobieski.